So let's get into it. I want to talk about current market update, kind of where we are, everything that is going on. First off, if we're going to talk about the stock market, stock market, doesn't really impact the real estate market. But if you look at yields, you look at 10-year treasury notes, and you look at that, it does impact the real estate market in a way of how it impacts mortgage rates and how mortgage rates are essentially creeping up, primarily because the yield rates are creeping up right now. So we did see a spike. They come down a little bit. But it does impact the mortgage, and it impacts affordability, especially as we see house prices rising in the marketplace. So currently right now, with the current administration, I know Biden came out today and said they had a multi-trillion-dollar plan for infrastructure. They're going to do across the country, including, supporting electric vehicles and other things they're going to do. I don't know the full extent of it. Also, to pay for that, they're going to tax businesses and take the corporate tax rate from 21% up to 28%. So I've got a call into my accountant to see how that's going to impact LLCs. Specifically, right? How us as that had LLCs, because typically with the current tax plan, LLC is essentially it's a pass-through entity, meaning you can write everything off up in the LLC, all your business expenses, and then obviously the income passes through, and then you would pay your tax rate depending on your income. In your income bracket. So, when it comes to the corporate tax rate raising from, additional 7%, we got to see how that's going to impact you and I. And I'll have more details since he essentially just announced it earlier this afternoon on the 21 to 28%. So how's that going to affect us? We'll find that out. And number two is what do we think's happening with the real estate market? Is there going to be a crash? What's currently going on right now? Well, right now we have at record historic low inventory. Right? It's like we've never seen before. Home builders are finding a shortage in trying to get supplies. So we're having a shortage in supplies right now. Lumber prices are going up. So the cost to build a new home has increased, which then increases the house value, which increases the affordability of the property. And you tie that in with interest rates. What's happening is, we have interest rates that are slowly going up. You have the cost of building houses going up because of this. Supply chain's has been disrupted slightly, and the cost of goods are going up. But then we have this record low inventory, and there's people that want to buy houses, but they essentially can't, right? So, what does that mean for us as wholesalers? It means that you want to put the pedal to the metal. And why we are so nimble and can move quickly, because our outflow when it comes to marketing is all determined by us. For an example, if we were going to fix and flip homes, or if we were going to build homes, we would have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we'd have to commit to buying these houses, and we have to spend time fixing them up, renovating them, doing all that, then listing the properties. And what happens is there's a window of time. It could be 6 months, it could be 8 months, it could be a year. It could depend whatever that time is. And when you hold real estate over a course of time, there's a potential risk when we have this uncertainty in the market, when we have millions and millions of people that haven't paid their mortgage, millions and millions of people that haven't paid their rent, and they've essentially kicked the can down the road until what they're talking up until September at some time, before they're going to address any type of the rent moratorium or the foreclosure forbearances that are happening. That will have to come to a head. And can we stimulate our way out of it? I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to come to a head where it's going to have to be addressed. People are going to have to pay their mortgage, or they're going to have to take their loan and put it they're going to have to take their back payments and put it onto the back of the loan as additional debt. Now, if they're FHA, Fannie Mae, or Freddie Mac, those are government-owned entities. They could potentially structure something like that. But if you have a loan with Wells Fargo or another, independent company, they might not want to do that. They might say, hey, listen, either you pay, or, we foreclose. So it's going to come to the point, what I think it could be third or fourth quarter, as they continue to push it out, kicks the can down the road when it comes to, paying that. So, people paying their mortgages. So we have millions and millions of people that haven't paid their mortgage and haven't paid rent, to the tune of millions. I mean, it's like insane numbers. And it's hard to count because there's shadow numbers that's not reported from the servicing companies that have to service these loans, right? But people I'm talking to is like they're inundated, these servicing companies have to service these loans because nobody, there's so many people that haven't paid their mortgage because of this whole pandemic situation. So now, what they're trying to hope is if I can kick the can down the road and we can potentially reopen, although, there's, Biden's coming out, Fauci's coming out, basically saying, slow the reopening efforts. Well, if we slow the reopening efforts, well, we still have all those people that still need to, get back into the restaurant business, get back into their small business and be able to create income so they can start paying their bills and their mortgage and their rent and stuff like that. So we can't really slow that process if we want to solve this big problem that is kind of weighing and pending. So what do we do, and what am I doing in my business? Well, currently right now, we're at a massive shortage, right? We're a massive shortage of inventory in the market. So what we want to do is press when we can press, market hard when we can market hard. But the bottom line is the ticket around all this with pay-per-click advertising and what we're doing and the direct mail strategies, even if you don't target the list we're talking about and stuff, but target, distress lists like tax default list or vacant lists that are absentee owners. Those are still hot lists that we target that you get incredible response rates in these small towns. So yesterday I had a couple wholesalers. I'm speaking at an event coming up here in April. End of April, and they came by and just shot a video real quick, and we were talking about their businesses, and they're in Texas and stuff. But when we talked about it, in one of the guys is in Houston, and in Houston it's so competitive, like Phoenix, like Atlanta, like Dallas, like Vegas, like these major markets across the country. But these small markets, there's a fortune. He was talking about a small little market, a 27,000 population outside of Houston, about 2 hours outside of Houston. He did 50 deals. And his average deal size was to the tune of $15,000. 50 deals at a small town at a 27,000 population. So whatever list you hit, you're going to get a significant response rate versus sending direct mail in Hartford, Connecticut, which is the city that's an hour or so away from Plainville, right? So, but people from Plainville will buy properties people from Hartford will buy properties in Plainville, and people in Plainville will buy properties in Plainville. So you get a double added benefit if that. So number one is there is no competition. Number two is the seller doesn't have people banging on their door. Now we know, that the more buyers you have surrounding a property, the price goes up. The less buyers you have, the price either stays or can go down because there's no competition. So what does that mean for you in negotiating? It gives you what's called leverage, and you can negotiate and you can say, hey, listen, our company, based upon our current numbers, can offer this much. We can do it cash. We can close, fair on your timeline. You don't have to pay commissions, closing costs, or fees, and you know what? And we make it a seamless and easy possible process. We're not the people where, if you're going to list your house, and try to get top price, but you might be on the market for 6 to 8 months in Plainville with 17,000 people. So when it comes from a seller's benefit, they get the deal done. If someone has urgency and they want to sell today and they want to get closed ASAP, well, guess what? We're the people that they need to be talking to, and that's why they Google or they respond to your direct mail. So the added benefit of these small towns, number one, is there is no competition from other wholesalers, which will drive up the price. And there's not competition where you have other buyers other than wholesalers that are driving up the price. So you essentially could be or possibly are the only one talking to that seller at that particular time, which is a massive, massive benefit because you're the only one talking to them about buying the house. That allows you to be able to contract properties at 48 to 53% of Zillow pricing. And if you contract properties at 48 to 53% of Zillow pricing, you'll get deals like this one in Plainville for, $26,000. It's actually $789 in Plainville, Connecticut, and it looks like it's a condo. So interesting, right? Interesting. The other benefit of doing, the primary benefit is number one, there's zero competition, and number two, the seller is not getting inundated by everybody and their brother. So when it comes to these small towns, another benefit for us is how many small 15,000, 17,000, 22 population towns are all across the entire country. How many of them are there, right? There's thousands and thousands and thousands that all across the I'll call across the country. So first off, my big obstacle was who's going to close these transactions? Who's going to close them? How do you get the pictures? How do you get the lockbox? How do you get the info? Then number three, right? How do you find the buyers in that small town and then get them to see the property in the small town so you can get it sold without having someone on the ground that can handle all this stuff, right? So those are the major obstacles that I had when I first even contemplated doing deals nationally. How do you close these transactions? How do you get all the information and the pictures and the lockbox and everything on that? And then how do you get the property sold and get people in the property without having a liaison from your own company that can handle all these type of things? So those were such big barriers that for a long time I decided not to go into other different markets. And for a long time I decided not to until October of 2019, and it just came apparent. And I thank God. I don't know if it's a God thing or whatever. It probably is, but just like everything is. And now I got in October of 19. We started cranking November, December, January, February in 19. And that's when we were kind of figuring everything else out. And then the pandemic hit, and it was my whole team was like, how did you know? I can't believe we pivoted. We figured everything out. We got everything together. And then the pandemic hit. My whole team works from home. We're not going on appointments with sellers locally all over the place. And we're operating without a hitch, and we're crushing it. We did more deals in March, April, May, crushing it with the new model that was insane, right? So the bottom line is that, the pivot, making that pivot, was it a struggle? Did I have obstacles? but we overcame them. You guys go crush it out there. Go get some contracts. I'm going to sign off. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a blessed day. Go out there and crush it. God bless.